Hello dear students, I welcome you all in our next video lesson of English subject standard 9th. Last time we had done with the poem 3.3 The Road Not Taken. I hope everyone has done with the homework and the whatever the assignment given based on the poem in your notebook. Now from today onwards we are going to start with a new lesson of third unit, that is 3.4, how the first letter was written. Now children, this story, it is written by a famous or well-known writer, that is the Rudyard Kipling. And in this story, he deals with an imaginary origin of letter writing. It is believed that the earliest form of the writing was pictorial. Pictorial means based on pictures, which depended on the drawings and the pictures of the express feelings and convey messages, because people didn't know the writing, they didn't having the writing skill. That's why they used to draw the painting their to show their expressions, to express their emotions, and from that they can understood each other's emotions and expressions. So based on that theme, here the story it is given, one of the funny, beautiful and informative story it is, how the first letter was written. Before starting the story children, just continue with the warming up activity. Here you have to feel the table, what it is asked. Let's continue with the question. List the material that man has used for the following purposes in the different age. For example, objects, weapons, second Neolithic age, that is the Stone Age, then 1st century CE, and the modern age. So now, what are the objects? For example, first it is given weapons. In Neolithic age, people use stone, bones or animal teeth as a weapon. The remaining you have to feel 1st century and the modern age, what different objective people are using. For example, in 1st century people start to use with the wood, steel and iron, and the modern age people start to use the steel, plastic and synthetic. Next it is fuel for the fire. In the Neolithic age people use firewood for creating the fire. In 1st century, firewood and coal people start to use to create the fire, to burn the fire as a fuel. Then in modern age, we having the petrol, diesel, kerosene, coal, natural gas, firewood. So means each and every age, period of the history, different changes are came there. Then utensils. In Neolithic age, people specially use the utensils which were specially made with the stones and bones. In the 1st century, people use the utensils which has been specially made with the wood, silver, copper, clay and gold. Means specially made with the different type of metals. In modern age also, people start to use the utensils made with the silver, steel, glass, plastic and copper. Then food. In old time, that is in Neolithic age, people used meat, fruits and crop as a food in their diet. In the 1st century, people start to use the crops, fruits, vegetables and meat in their food as a diet. In the 1st century, people use crops, fruit, vegetable and meat as a food in their diet. In the modern age, now people are also using crops, fruit, vegetables and meat in their diet. Means not much changes are there in the 1st century and the modern age. Then clothes, last point it is given children, cloth. In old time, that is in Neolithic age, in Stone Age, people use animal skin, plants for making their clothes. Then in 1st century, people start to make the cloth which has been made by wool, lines, silk, fiber and leather. Then in modern age also, people start to use the clothes, start to wear the clothes made up with the cotton, linen, wool, silk and terracotta. So in this way you can see children, from this example you can understood how changes has been occurred from the Neolithic age to the modern age. In the history also, you people had learned about the three periods of the history: Stone Age, then medieval period of the history, and modern age. So you I think better knows that what type of changes are came from Neolithic age to the modern age, how the changes has been occur suddenly, constant changes are there. So the table you have to complete, which just we had discussed. Now next, one activity you have to do, simple activity it is given. uh, you have to write within 3 minutes. Try to write, make as many words as you can using the letters in your name. Suppose your name is there, and from your name how many letters are there, so that letters you have to use, and with the help of that letters you can write how many words you can able to write within 3 minutes. A small activity you have to do. So you cannot repeat the same letter twice. One letter you have to use one, unless it is so in your name. So this activity you can do at your home. Simple activity it is there. You can do, set the time and timer, and you can do this activity, so you will get the proper idea how to do the activity. Then the other activities are also there that you can read and do by yourself. Next we'll continue with the next page, page number 73. How the first letter was written. Once upon a most early time was a Neolithic man, and he lived cavally in a cave. So whatever the story we are learning, children, it is happened in the Neolithic age, in the Stone Age. There was a time when a Neolithic man used to live cavally. Cavally means in a crowd, in a small cave with his family, and he wore very few clothes. And when they were lived in the small cave in that Neolithic age, they also wore very less clothes on their body, and he couldn't read and he couldn't write. And what is the most interesting thing, that the people of the Neolithic age, they were unable to write and unable to read anything there. And he didn't want to, and except when he was hungry he was quite happy. And except that they do not having any work, whenever they feel hungry they become very happy, because when they get hungry they start to go for the hunt. They hunt any animal, fish or something else from the forest, and enjoying the feast at the night time along with the family members or community members. So there was also one man in the story whose name is the Tejumai Bhopsulai. It is the name of that Neolithic man, which means man who doesn't put his foot forward in a hurry, which is moving very slowly. That is called the Tejumai Bhopsulai. That is the meaning of his name. But we, O base beloved, will call this man only Tejumai. We will not call him Tejumai Bhopsulai only. We will call this man in the whole story as a Tejumai only, for a short form. And his wife name was Teshumai Tevindo. He was also having his wife, but her name was Teshumai Tevindro, which means lady who ask a very many question. But we, O base beloved, will call her the Teshumai only. We will use her name in short. Then third character in the story, that is their little girl of Teshumai and Tejumai. They are having a small daughter whose name was Tafimai Metalumai. That is the name of that small girl, and that means small person without any manners, who ought to be spanked. That is the meaning of her name. but I am going to call her Taffy only, in short. And she was Tejumai Bhopsulai's best beloved, because she was their only one daughter, so her father and mother loved her very much, and her own mummy's best beloved. So both her father and her mummy loved her so much, because she was only the daughter of themselves. She was not spanked half as much as was good for her, and they were all three were happy. All three of them were living very happily in a small cave. So this is the introduction of the character, children. We had done three main characters we had introduced in the story. First it is the Tejumai, second it is the Teshumai, and third it is the Taffy-mai, a small girl, daughter of Teshumai and the Tejumai. These are the three main characters in the story. Now let's attend and listen the story, what exactly discussion was going on between them. One day Tejumai Bhopsulai went down through the beaver swamp to the Wagai river to spare scarfish for dinner, and Taffy went too. Tejumai's spear was made of wood with shark's teeth at the end, and before he had caught any fish at all, he accidentally broke it clean across by jabbing it down too hard on the bottom of the river. They were miles and miles away from the home, and Tejumai had forgotten to bring any extra spare. So here in this next children say what happened. One day the Tejumai Bhopsulai went down through the beaver swamp. Beaver swamp means where the small swampy areas are there. That is called the beaver swamp. And in that swamp, beaver, a small insect, it is living. That's why it is called as a beaver swamp, which is away from the Wagai river. So the Tejumai went to the Wagai river to catch the carfish for the dinner at night, and along with the Tejumai, Taffy also went. Tejumai was carrying a spear. Spear means a axe-like instrument which can be used to catch the fish. A tool which can be used to catch the fish. So the Tejumai's spear was made of the wood, and that spear has been made with the wood, which has been also attached with the shark's teeth at the end. And before he had caught any fish, what happened? His spear has been broken down. How he has broken down his spear? Accidentally he has broken down his spear, because when he was crossing the river, by jabbing it down, when he was crossing the river, he has put his spear to take support to walk in the water, and at one place where the hard rock was there, he has jabbed that spear, and because of that only the bottom, that teeth, that sharp teeth which has been mended there, that has been broken, and it become useless now. They didn't catch any fish before broken of that spear, and now they are miles and miles away from their home, and Tejumai didn't brought any extra spear. He has forgot to bring the extra spear. So now he had a big problem. If he do not having the extra spear, then it is very difficult for him to catch the fish. So here's, "O pretty kettle of fish," said Tejumai, "it will take me half the day to mend it." So he told his pretty daughter Taffy that here's a pretty kettle of fish, means where they have reached There he found the fish on a large number, which he has called as a pretty kettle of the fish. But his spear has been broken, and to mend it, how much time he require? He require almost a half day to mend that spear. So there's your big black spear at home, said Taffy. So Taffy said to her father that your big black spear, it is there at home. Let me run back to the cave and ask mummy to give it to me. So Taffy told her father that if you want another spear which is kept at our cave, our house, so I will go there by running to the cave and I will bring that spear from mummy if you let me go, Taffy told her father. Then Tejumai replied, it's too far, your little fat legs, said Tejumai. Tejumai explained his daughter that you are very small. Your legs are very small to run that much distance, because we are miles and miles away from our house. It is not possible for you to go back by running and bring that spear here for my help. Besides, you might fall into the beaver swamp and too drown. He told that if I had sent you alone there, so what will happen? Maybe you will fall down in the beaver swamp and there are the chances to be drawn. So Tejumai was not ready to send Taffy to bring that spear to him. We must make the best of a bad job. He sat down and took out a little leather mendy bag. So Tejumai sat there at the bank of the river. He took out his leather bag to mend that broken spear. He having the leather in his bag, which was full of render snoods, strips of the leather, and lumps of beeswax and resin. And also he began to mend this by whatever the material available in his bag. By using that material, Tejumai start to mend his broken spear there, and Taffy was sitting nearby him and watching his father whilst mending that broken spear. So in this way, children, the first part of the lesson we had done here in this video. In next video we will continue with the next part, remaining part of the lesson. Assignment you will get on this part. I hope whatever I have taught you, everyone has understood the story. It is very easy to understand. If you read it, you will find it very interesting. So you have to read it once or twice from your textbook, so you will get the clear idea about what is the assignment. Also you have to do. Next time we will continue with the remaining part of the lesson. Till then, just be happy, be safe. Thank you so much.